right, good afternoon and good morning. Let's get started with our letter writing. So, in IELTS writing test, the task 1 for someone who is writing the IELTS test for job application, your task 1 is letter writing. And letter writing is actually meant to last for 20 minutes. Now, within 20 minutes, you are meant to write a minimum of 150 words. Now, a lot of people find IELTS writing test task 1 for general training to be a walkover because it's ordinarily meant to be pretty simple. But there is usually a confusion somewhere. The confusion is in majority of the countries of the world, if you ask anyone how many types of letters do we have, they will tell you 2. How many types of letters do we have?
3.
Right. If you ask them, those I will say 2. If you ask them to tell you the types of letters, they'll tell you formal and informal. Then ironically in IELTS letter writing questions, if it's an informal letter, you can easily decipher, right?
Yes.
It will tell you write a letter to your family member or friend, right? But on the other hand, if a question says write a letter to your employer, most people write such letters as formal letters, and that is wrong. This is where failure begins, right? About 60% of letters that people write as formal letters are actually semi-formal. Right? So that brings us to today's letter writing training, that we have 3 types of letters. Namely, we have the informal letters, we have the semi-formal letters, and we have the formal letters. Now let's talk about the 3 types of letters. What are informal letters? These are letters that you write to people who are related to you either by blood or by friendship. Is this clear? Informal letters are letters we write to people related to us either by blood or by friendship. Now, when we say related to us by blood, we are referring to letters you write to your parents, your siblings, your relations. Relations covers uncles, aunts, and others. And it is quite easy to decipher an informal letter, if that's the question. Now, let's go to the semi-formal letters. The semi-formal letters are letters that has the qualities or characteristics of both the informal and the formal letters. Yes, that's why we call it semi-formal. So about 25% of semi-formal letters is the informal. Do you understand me? 25% of the features of semi-formal letters are gotten from informal letters. Whereas the remaining 75% of semi-formal letters are strictly formal letters features. Do you understand this? Then, the formal letters are strictly letters written to people occupying official positions. Please, do you understand this?
Yes, sir.
So let's begin. To begin, we shall look at the informal letter. But before we write on the informal letter, let's understand that there is a formula for writing letters. Okay, so here is the formula for writing letters. Whichever or whatever type of letter it is. The formula is that you should have a salutation. You should have your paragraphs 1 to 4, although you have option of having 3 paragraphs or 4 paragraphs. Okay? Yeah. Then of course you need to close your letter. Now in letter writing, I want to take us back to the normal practice of letters that we learned at school. In writing a letter on your sheet, you usually have something written on the top right hand side of your sheet, right? There's something at the left hand side, and of course there's something written here. Is this correct? Yeah. What do you write up here?
Is it when you're writing?
When the normal formal letter or semi-formal letter, or sometimes even informal. What do you write up here on your
address and date?
And date. Whose address? Recipient's or writer's address? Writer's address comes here, right? Yep. This is where you write your address and include your date, right? What is usually written here? Recipient's address. That's the receiver's address, right? For instance, the manager, blah 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 blah, area blah blah blah, right? What usually writes here?
Yes, sir.
No. No.
Subject. No, I'm asking, is it formal letter you're talking about?
Yes, I said formal or semi-formal, and in some cases informal. In some cases. Alright? So I want to bring our mind to something. So the writer's address, the recipient's address, subject of the letter. These are things you write by default when you're doing the formal writing sort of, right? In IELTS, please, this is not needed. Don't write any of them. In IELTS, don't write any of these guys. They are irrelevant.
Just
go straight to your salutation. That's why the formula begins with salutation. Please, do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Don't waste your precious time writing these. They don't count. So I just want you to draw your attention to this. Okay, so based on the formula, the first thing you must write at the beginning of your letter is your salutation. And in IELTS, every letter must begin with the word or salutation, dear, whoever it is, and a comma. This is the way to begin your letter, whichever it is, whether formal, semi-formal, or informal letter. Salutation. So when you write dear first, then whatever you're going to write here is largely and strictly dependent on your relationship with the person. Depending on the type of letter. Right? So when you express your salutation, then the next thing is you begin to write on the paragraphs. P1, P2, P3, then P4 optional. So if you don't plan to have a fourth paragraph, that means your letter should contain 3 main paragraphs. But if you're going to have a fourth paragraph, then there is also a condition. This fourth paragraph should not exceed 2 sentences.
2 sentences.
Then of course, the closure of your letter. So let's begin with a formal letter. I'm going to take this. S stands for? Alright.
Applications.
General is what? Letter writing.
Yes, it's more like an informal letter because you're writing to them. The ones that they see me,
You can come up, anyone can come up.
For general, that's right. But if you're doing academic, writing reports, the report question could be a bar chart, line graph, infographics, histogram, pie charts, table, whatever it is. So you don't print. Do you understand? Remember that your task 1, you are not going to be given the 3 types of letters and be asked to choose any one. It will just be one question. So that one question could fall between, it could be any of the 3 types of letters. You would have to read the question and decipher the type of letter it is. And then write following a template for that type. Do you understand? So we are starting with the informal letter. So what are informal letters? You can help us. What are informal letters? They are letters you write to people related to us either by blood or friendship, right? Examples of informal letters. Letter you write, letter to a friend, letter to your parents, and letter to your relations, right? Or letter to
boyfriend, girlfriend.
Anything French. Okay, it's finding.
Or letter to Madame wrote the organ.
Or letter to
Sorry, please. You want to learn from your wealth of knowledge. How do you address letter to side? Yeah, side.
Yellow.
No, not the yellow.
Oh, the one that brought the side can even marry person. The side chick does not have
He has a lot of wisdom and
No, I was the one that
Dear-
side chick couple.
Dear SC.
I'm sorry. What is this?
one expo for side chicks. They'll just write parliament member. Check that parliament member is a sex.
Yes.
When you see it, you rush. Honey, oh, the parliament member is funny. Then the person will begin. Hello, parliamentarian. And you are like, oh, my husband is so busy. There's a lot of parliament members. You don't know he's giving palliatives.
The cost is not.
Okay, so these are the information about informal letters. They are letters you write to people who are related to you, either by blood or by friendship, and we've listed the examples of informal letters. Now let's look at a template of how the informal letter should look like, following the standard formula. So the first thing right here is your salutation, which I said earlier should begin with the word here. Then let's assume you're writing to your parents. So you're saying, dear mom and dad. The 2 of them must be identified. Unless the question says a parent, single.
Can you spell mom as in? Are you going to write mom and dad like that?
Can you use somebody's name, dear so person?
Your parents?
No, like your friend.
Oh, yes. If the question is right, to your friend.
Will it be the
I'm
short
just giving
form?
you different examples, right?
Will it be the short form of and?
And spell it. You need to spell it. I understand what she does. You know, a informal letter is not a serious kind of letter. So you are free to use you're free to make use of abbreviations. You're free to make use of contractions. That those can't, won't use them at this point, right? But if it is semi-formal and formal, please avoid them. Avoid them. Semi and formal.
So you use cannot.
You use cannot. Every word must be spelled in full.
So, you use I am.
For
Have
for
I am.
formal, I am, not I.
Spell in full.
not
Spell in full, yes please. Yes please. You understand?
I am.
So, whatever name you're writing here is largely dependent on the question. Please. Remember, acronyms are allowed in informal letters. Nicknames are allowed in informal letters. Acronyms could be, instead of writing Kajetan, you write what? CJ. Right? Instead of writing Buhari, you write Bubu. instead of writing maybe Jennifer, you write Jenny, right? So please, they are highly accepted in informal letters, right? So when you write that, comma should follow it. Then after that, your paragraph 1, you are meant to show off what we call exchange of pleasantries. EOP. Exchange of pleasantries. And after that, bring in what we call recall of past memory. Recall of past memory. Exchange of pleasantry. That's EOP. Then after that, recall of past memory. And after that, you bring in purpose of writing. POW.
Recall of past memories.
Recall of past memory. Just one is enough. Recall of past memory, then bring in your purpose of writing.
Or in paragraph.
Yes, paragraph 1. You are not giving very any lengthy, just short.
Sorry, what do you know?
Recall of past memory. Recall of past memory. Then right here you have purpose of writing, POW. Taken? Now your paragraph 2, you are talking about detailed purpose of writing. Detailed purpose of writing. So talking about your detailed purpose of writing, you're meant to bring in facts and figures. Facts and figures. These facts and figures may not be real facts and figures. You have to be creative, right? So create them. Then your paragraph 3. Your paragraph 3, you are talking about either preferring solution or you state your preferred solution. So to bring in your preferred or you preferred solution, you have to establish when and how you want the issue to be resolved. Then for your paragraph 4, which is optional, this is where you bring in your conclusion. Then, for the closure of your letter, for informal letters, you can simply say best wishes, comma, then just a name. That name could be a nickname, it could be an acronym of your name, it could be your full name, but just one is enough.
Sorry, sir. Can I ask? So, this kind of letter now, when we're writing the name, is there any particular angle that we're supposed to?
Okay. For the closure, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, it used to be right here.
Yes.
That's the old they created.
Okay.
Here is what they call justify. You know, presently, even your subject comes this way too. Everything comes
Yes.
justify.
So your subject comes down.
Yes. But for handwritten letters, they are different. This particular template, what I just pinpointed, is strictly for typing. But for handwritten, you choose how you want to structure your letter. So if you would like to retain the traditional approach, it's fine. But amidst the traditional approach, please remove the style of writing closure again. Take it this way. But you can centralize.
You should always be on your left hand side.
Yes, please. Do you understand? Okay. So let's verbally explain this formula. So let's assume you're writing a letter to your parents, or you're writing a letter to your friend, inviting your friend to your graduation party or ceremony. So you write, "Dear Jenny, comma." This is the next sentence. How have you been? So when I say, how have you been? What comes in? How have you been? What comes in?
Comma.
Here? Comma.
Yes.
Do you agree?
Question mark.
How have you been?
Question mark.
It's a question mark. That's the question now.
Are you asking me or you're sending me a mark?
You outside. How have you been?
Yes, so what should come in? Question mark. Right, that's correct. Question mark. Right? How is your study going? Question mark or full stop or cover?
Question mark.
This is a question.
Well, Mr. Ben, can't you use this word? Okay, I have been trust your study is going well. What's an assumption?
How have you been? Trust.
Your study is going
Is it you trust or just trust?
well. Trust you're doing well.
I
Trust.
How have
trust
you
you're doing
been?
well.
Trust your.
I trust
Who
you.
owns that trust? That's what I'm asking. Do you understand my question?
Yeah, I trust.
Look, see,
a lot
this is
of
the
work.
normal way we've been writing letters, but I think it's
Yes,
changing.
Exactly.
A lot of
I was trying to
I
write that
understand you. I need to understand what
this
you're
informal
doing.
letter back to a friend, and I was trying to argue with myself as in, is it, am I to answer the question or how? Totally
Maybe, I don't
You know
think
that,
you
how are you?
understand.
How are you doing in the family?
She does, she
Like, what's
understands.
your opinion?
I hope-
The question
That
mark
I
is a feeling. Why
If the person is writing back to you, I
Yeah.
think you reply in that
Yeah.
way.
It was when you said who owns the trust that
I lost track, but I understand where you're going.
Who owns the trust? The trust is for you.
Correct that is the next way I actually lost. How have you been? Mhm.
I trust.
I trust you.
You,
I trust you're doing well.
not just living in
Trust open.
Okay, yeah. I just study is going well. Instead of me having this comma again.
Okay,
Sorry, this question mark.
okay. Exchange of presumption. You can inquire as much as you want. You might want to find out how is the new environment. I believe you are advertising with a how are you coping with your new job?
words, right?
You can
Inquire so
It
that-
depends on the situation you have built from the question.
Yeah.
If it's a question who relocated abroad not too long ago, you want to know about the environment, you want to know about
Weather.
coping to
The weather, the-
So there is no rule that says just one question mark. Do you understand the vision? That it depends on you, right? It depends on you. But there's something I want to establish here as I'm asking all this question. Okay, how have you been? How is your study going?
stress.
I hope all is well. I hope you are adjusting to the new environment.
Over there.
Or adapting.
Okay, what comes in here?
Full stop.
Full stop? Full stop?
Yeah,
Yeah, full stop.
you're done with it.
I hope all is well. The exchange
I hope all is well with you and your family.
It's a comma.
Your family.
It's a comma.
Depends on what you want.
In your family, comma.
What do you think?
But
I
if you're,
hope all is well with you and your family.
That's the final part.
Full stop.
the full stop now, you are done with
Comma.
How have you?
exchange your words.
The full stop. The reason why I'm being
I
a bit
hope
curious.
all is going well with
You
you.
still need to talk about something that's the ROPM. On one paragraph, it's a comma, not a full stop.
Anyone?
Wait, say it full stop.
Yes.
Say anyone.
Full stop.
Come on.
Okay. Full stop is the right punctuation mark that should come in. Why?
Fresh.
Because
You start with
You're-
me.
it's not a question. That is a rhetorical expression. You are not expecting an answer. You are hoping. Do you understand this? English is very crazy. You just have to understand different things at the same time. Alright, how have you been? How is your study going? I hope all is well with you and your family. Full stop. Now, recall of past memory. I honestly still have, or I constantly do have, or I constantly experience, okay, I constantly have a retrospect or a flashback of the good
The last time
memories we had
had dinner
from
together.
our last outing or rendezvous or picnic before your departure. Do you understand this?
Yeah.
You just want to create something.
Yeah.
And I look forward to having more of such experiences if time will permit. You are recalling something. Do you understand?
Well, can you-
Are you thinking of a situation?
People don't know that one.
I know whenever you are
Sorry, can this start with a question? Do you still remember the time?
That's another way.
Yes,
But sir, can you still?
Yes.
No, even for now.
We are dealing with
formal.
informal
We are dealing
letters.
with
Is this formal?
Yes.
Okay, which other type of
Hello, sir. Yes, sir. But can you still, talk more or write more about your experience with the person?
that particular outing?
Yeah.
Yes, you can, but please, it's not nice to overflow paragraph.
Okay.
More details should come in paragraph 2 and 3.
Oh, okay.
More details.
Oh, okay.
But paragraph 1, you are just greet the person, drop a little
Flashback.
memory, and talk about what you want to write. Do
Okay.
you understand?
Okay, sir.
So after exposing or dropping your recall, it could be a question like Oga identified. We can ask the person, do you still reminisce? If you want to use, they don't use big grammar. Can you still recall or remember 24th of July? Does that ring a bell? Right? I always have great pictures of that outing, and I keep
Okay,
bringing-
that's paragraph 2, right?
That's still in
one.
one.
That's still in one. Recall of
Recall of past
memory.
memories.
Okay.
So after expressing your recall of past memory, then you write, notwithstanding Gina or Jenny, I'm actually writing to inform you, to invite you to my graduation ceremony, which comes up on the 24th of December. Don't go for this. That is your purpose of writing. All these ones here are just preambles. Right? The main purpose of writing is your invitation to the graduation ceremony. Then when you come to your paragraph 2, as you know, I enrolled.
Sorry, sir.
Yes, please.
So I'll talk about paper code. Can you talk about the name of the school, my graduation, and the location and the date of the graduation?
The venue.
That's it.
Paragraph.
Recall that 6 years ago I enrolled into my current school, and the name, right? And for the period of time, I've been coming out as the best student in each of the different classes I've gone through. Excitingly or wonderfully, I am glad to let you know that I've been scheduled to graduate on the 24th of August this year. And of course,
And I thought so.
I feel it's something you need to be present, to witness the excitement, to witness the accolades they're going to pour on me, to experience, So, and coincidentally, my school gave me 5 tickets to bring 5 different people. Of course, my family are already on the list, and being my best friend, it is only natural for me to invite you to grace this particular occasion, right? Now, I would like to give you a little insight about the ceremony. The ceremony is meant to last for 4 hours, as it will begin at about 12 p.m. It will begin at about 12 p.m. with the school anthem. Then there will be a few performances by different troops and groups. right? After which, we are going to have a little time for validation speech. I'm fortunate to be amongst the speakers, and I would like to give me a little clips or give me a little video coverage when I'm on the podium.
And refreshments.
All right. Then after that, we're going to have refreshments. Remember the last visit my parents made to me, and you were there. They came with very nice recipes that we had to eat together and even share to some of my roommates with very nice music playing. This will also be another awesome memory because this time around it's not going to be like the
previous.
The previous. We've made proper plans by hiring a DJ to put together a list of playlists that are trending. So it's going to be another mini party within this ceremony. More so, since we are starting at 12, we are meant to finish the program at about 4 p.m.
Would you give the venue?
Yes,
At this
the
point.
school already.
The name of the school, the location. And
So maybe the venue will now be, the auditorium has a particular name. You know, the auditorium might be named after Obasanjo, Tinubu, or Tinubu.
Of Wari.
It's not your school, though. So you give that name of the venue, right?
At that point.
So you talk about the arrival time. My school does not respect African time. So 10 is 10 for us. And we keep to our time. Every performer and presenter on that day have been given their time frame to perform. So please, I would advise that you come as early as possible. Latest 30 minutes before time, or an hour is not too early. An hour before the starting time.
That's the P3.
No, we are
Sleep
still
it.
here. Then for P3, I'm done now. P3, since it is a graduation party, you must not dress so churchy, right? Try to be in an attire that will make you feel free and comfortable, especially to be able to dance. Remember, I'm one of the best dancers we have in our residence. So dressing is the solution you are preferring, right? Then, if you can afford to come with any souvenir in my name, I would really appreciate it. So I can share to my fellow graduates, right?
Madam,
And
Can I use colleague?
Madam,
no, they're not.
Are you
They're
there?
colleagues at work. Graduates.
Graduates.
People that are graduating together. Then you also want to establish that I don't have good plans for photographs. Could you please help me plan for this? See if you can contract someone, a good photographer who would be pocket friendly with their budget or prices. So let's see how much it would cost so that I would begin to appeal to my parents to see what they can do to assist me with such funds, right? So that's the solution we are proposing to. Then, when we are done with the whole thing, there will be after party. My classmates, we've arranged for a little after party.
Well, we have
a
talked
after
about
party.
the party in paragraph 2.
Yes, this is school graduation
The party.
ceremony.
Okay, that's the
Now,
after party.
After party. So now, it's a little get together where we want to exchange gifts amongst ourselves, appreciate ourselves for being reading mates and classmates and all that, right? So we'll spend just about an hour. I've actually pre-informed my parents and they approved of that. So I would like you to also join me so you help me take some photographs and other short video recordings. Then, thank you for always being a great friend. Knowing you has been one of the greatest things in my life. I always pray and look forward to a day I will reciprocate all the kind gestures you've always shown to me. Alright? Then, best wishes. Check. That's it.
Higher school.
So,
Oh, good.
so you just
first seeing you on the day of the party, on the day of the ceremony.
you want to hide your friend with you requested for something, right?
A lot of you want to bring
I love that. So there's a need to hide the friend. So that when you read it,
Let me do it for her.
right? So life is about wisdom. So that's it. You close your letter and it's
That's to a friend. So if you're writing to parent, the parent.
If you're writing to your parent, depending on the situation, depending on the question, you also use the same approach to develop your letter.
Even your relative, right?
Even your relatives, yes. The same approach depends on the question, right? So you develop your letter now. Please, any question? Jim or Jim? We are going to send a list of letters to you, informal letters, written letters. Please, you read through and see how they are structured. Then let's go to the last two. Their approach is the same, except few attributes. Yes. Okay, so that's it about the informal letter. Here we are going to treat the semi-formal letters
Are you okay?
and
Okay,
formal letters. Okay, now let's look at the semi-formal letters and formal letters. What are semi-formal letters? These are letters we write to people that we have official relationship with. Right?
Yes, sir.
There are letters we write to people that we have official relationship with. Examples of semi-formal letters will include letters to your landlord. Right? Letters to your
former employer.
your previous employer.
How about your current employer?
Your current employer, yes, also.
I wrote one letter, my boss and you have to go and to cancel it, let's take it, because I don't want to take day one day.
Letters you write to your landlord. Letters you write to your previous employers. Letters you write to your clergy as your the spiritual director or guidance. Letters you write to your child or children's school management or teacher.
Principal.
Exactly. Letters you write to your lecturer. Letters you write to your professors. Letters you write to your head of department at your workplace. These are semi-formal letters. You already have an existing relationship with the person. Them. Yes, please. Now let's go to the formal letters. They are letters you write to official designations. Official designations, positions. You write
Like
letters to
companies.
the position. You don't know who is there. Do you understand this?
So you don't know the person's name.
You don't know the
nothing.
person's name. You don't know if he's a male or female. You don't know if he's married or single. You don't know who's there. But you know that this is a designation. Yes, that's a position, portfolio. Right? So there are letters you write to people occupying particular positions, right? That we have no business or relationship with. Examples of formal letters: employment letter, letters to banks to open an account, right? Letters you write for bidding for contracts. Letters you write to media houses. Letters you write to the president of a country. They are formal letters. So let's begin. For your formal letter, how do you express your salutation? Sorry, your semi-formal letter, how do you express your salutation? Of course, it has to begin with dear. Then you already know who is there.
Hey, Mr.
You have formal, you have official relationship with the person. So, Mr.
Alex.
Alex, for instance. Then, of course, your comma comes in. It could also be dear Mrs. Solin. It could be dear Miss Becky. It could also be dear Miss Tracy. There must be this salutation. There must be the marital status. and then the first name should come in. Please, you understand this?
Yes.
But if it is a formal letter, there is only one approach, one standard template. It has to be dear
Sir, ma.
sir / madam. Ma is African.
Madam.
Okay, please, the two must appear. You don't know who is there. You don't know who is there. So it is left to the occupier of that position to recognize the one that goes for him or not.
So please, I need to continue some.
Okay, this is for a spinster, a single lady, right? But this is for someone whose marital status is unknown. You assume the person looks married, but you're not sure. So you can use this.
The sound is same.
Yes. You can also use it for someone who used to be in marriage, but no longer. Please, do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Because in some schools they're using this for everyone.
Yes, you know. Hello, Mr. Chi. Hello, Mr. Yes. Okay, so let's go to paragraph 1. For your semi-formal letter, you have an option of exchanging pleasantries. You have an option to do that. Then after that, your purpose of writing comes in. But if it is a formal letter, you don't even have any rights in the first place.
Question, please, that Do you know this person?
You don't know what is there.
Brother, I still.
So just go straight to your purpose of writing. But please, there is something about this option here. It's optional because you are not compelled to exchange pleasantries. But if you wish to, you are cautioned and advised strongly to restrict it to your official relationship with that person. If you're writing to your superior at the office, ensure your questions or pleasantries or writing of pleasantries, it borders just within that office. Don't go asking the person about the family. You have no relationship with family. It's just your official relationship. Do you understand this? But if you don't want to accept pleasantries at all, it's perfect. Just go straight to your purpose of writing. Then there is a standard when you are writing your purpose of, when you are showing your purpose of writing under semi or formal letter. The standard is I'm writing in connection with whatever it is that you want to write about. This is where you bring it in. Most people would say, I hope this letter meets you well. I hope this letter meets you well. I hope this letter finds you well. In good spirits. That's for normal, not for IELTS. For IELTS, please use I'm writing in connection with an advert I read on one of the dailies where you have invited qualified and interested applicants to put in their application for the position of XYZ. Simple. That's for formal letters. If it is semi, you are saying something like, I'm writing in connection with my need for a reference or recommendation letter as requested by my new employer. That's all. Please do understand this. Okay, so let's proceed. Let's go to paragraph 2. For your second paragraph, you are given detailed purpose of writing, and remember to bring in facts and figures. Facts and figures. So same thing applies here. Then for your paragraph 3, you are either to proffer solution or state your preferred solution. Please remember to show when and how you want the issue to be resolved. Same thing applies here. Then for your fourth paragraph,
Oh, sorry, I'm a bit confused. Same thing applies here. When and how you're applying for a job, tell them when, just tell them when you want to get on board or something.
Solution. Solution is not. Solution comes in various ways.
solution in application letter could be, based on my wealth of experiences over the years, I can confidently establish that in the next 3 months, I would bring in my techniques that I've applied in my previous workplaces into your new office to turn the revenue around and help you to achieve over 20% increase. That is solution. Do you understand? I would also ensure that there is monthly training for every staff under my department. That is solution. So it's not, it comes to different ways. It depends on what you're writing. Then, for your paragraph 4, sorry, before we go to paragraph 4, for paragraph 3, there is also a standard. I will appreciate it if what?
I'm really giving you the opportunity.
If I'm granted the opportunity to work with your,
Is it like an application?
it could be different, semi-formal letter. If it is semi-formal letter, maybe a letter for reference letter or recommendation, I would appreciate it if my request is given due considerations within the time frame I have.
It does sound like an application that when you're applying for a job or something.
Semi-formal letter, you might be writing to your landlord to either review the rate downward. You might be appealing to your landlord to fix a problem somewhere. So you would appreciate it if your
request,
observations or
your
requests are
request.
giving urgent consideration.
Attention.
Do you understand?
Sorry. B, is it B-E-E-N or B-I-N-G?
That BING is present continuous tense.
Okay.
How
Have you been?
have you
How have you been?
Is it B-E-I-N-G?
yes, I want to use the right sentence.
How
structure.
have you been?
How have you been faring?
How have you been is B-E-E, B-double-E-N.
B-E-E-N, how have you been?
That's
It's
been.
past. It's now.
Past. Hmm?
Being is past.
Yes.
The
Then
double
being
E.
is present
Present
continuous.
Continuous, B-E-I-N-G.
Being in Nigeria or being a Nigerian present continuous. You are still a Nigerian.
Okay,
Being a Nigerian has given me the opportunity to notice thick skin against hardship.
Okay, that's B-E-I-N-G.
I-N-G.
That's B.
Do you understand?
People mistake those two,
Yeah, exactly.
B-E-E-N and B-I-N-G.
Yes. Don't write
Okay,
anyone.
okay, being is
And the
past.
people mistake
It's
it.
past tense, abi?
Sorry, sir. Sorry, this question is related, sir, but it's not right now. But during the marking, do they concentrate on the writing, or do they also on the spellings and the?
Okay. I
Yes. I think they pay yes, that's the information. That's collision. I love it because I
Coherence. Expressions. Curious.
These are the four yardsticks with which examiners evaluate whatever you write. These are the four yardsticks. So the first one is on task achievement. So when you have your question in front of you, the question has bullet points. You are expected compulsorily to respond to the question covering those bullet points. Complete. So but your inability to respond to the questions completely, you are going to lose mark for task achievement. That means you have not completely responded to the questions. You know, sometimes you get carried away, you forget that you have other things you have to touch. You just keep enjoying what you write. So please, you have to be careful. Then, task cohesion, when a question is asked, you can understand the question, then you interpret it. Right? So when that happens, you've lost that. Now, coherence, responding to the question now, if you deviate, you have gone the other way. So you're going to lose mark for coherence. Please, you understand this?
Yes.
And you know, even if you actually understood that question when you read it, when you're writing it, if you deviate, examiner will not know that you actually understood it at least, right? Is whatever the examiner is reading that will determine what your own interpretation and delivery counts to be, right? So it is important that when you read the question, the first thing is to ensure you understand. And when you've understood, ensure that your interpretation in writing is still in line with the question. So that you don't begin to speak in the parallel. It's going to be very hazardous. Then, lexical resources, vocabulary. That's spelling. So examiners look out for your vocabularies. And they don't just want you to express vocabularies, they want you to express advanced vocabularies. So your advanced vocabularies should not be ambiguous. Don't go and start speaking Honorable Patrick. So, so just ensure that you don't use the ambiguous words and expressions. Ensure that your expressions and words or dictions are very precise in every context you are writing. Okay? So, in other words, correct spellings counts. Then lastly, grammatical range and accuracies. What type of sentences do you construct? If you're doing short sentences, you're going to lose little marks. So IELTS expects you to show off compound and complex sentences. So this is where you bring in linking words. When you express this idea, you say, moreover, another idea. On the other hand, another idea in one sentence. So these are things you want to actually hold on to.
That's not very easy.
Okay, so let's go back to our letter.
Sorry for the distraction.
No, it's nice. It's actually nice.
For instance, furthermore.
So let's go to paragraph 4. Paragraph 4 is optional. Why is it optional? If your paragraph 3 has given you details of all that you need to talk about. So, and then you also discover that it's not quite lengthy. If it's not so lengthy, all you need to do is just do your closure there. Do your closure. Thank you for the opportunity to have worked with you, or thank you for the opportunity to work with you for the period I actually did. I learned a lot working under you.
You live in the organization.
That is, if you're writing a recommendation letter, you want to drop some things that people will just look at us. So when you do that, just close your letter and then come here. That means there is no paragraph 4. But if you feel your paragraph 3 is so lengthy, you wrote a lot there, your paragraph 4 should just have 2 sentences maximum. So what do you do there? How do people do the last paragraph for applications? Thank you, as I anticipate positive feedback. Positive response. Or I look forward to
my request being
Being
granted.
granted.
But I think the most popular one
Is-
for
I look forward or anticipate
is positive
mm,
feedback.
positive response. We're always positive in this one. Okay, so whatever you have to express in your fourth paragraph, please, it shouldn't exceed 2 sentences. Hmm? So, and this is where you talk about conclusion. And same thing applies here. Then for your closure, for semi-formal letter, the best template is yours sincerely, your first and last name. That's for your closure. Your first and last name. Although you would realize that some semi-formal letters you receive, for instance, from banks, your bank statement that is sent to your email, you might see something like warm regards.
Yeah.
Comma, their first and last name.
You need to sign.
No, not here.
Come on.
So these are options you can apply when you are treating or closing your semi-formal letter. Now let's go to the formal letters. There is only one template, and that would be yours faithfully, comma, append your signature, then your first and your last name.
No, signature should come before name.
John?
Can you also use best regards?
Oh, yeah, right.
Should you get the left hand side or the right hand side?
Left.
About formal.
Left.
Everything should be.
Because by default, everything in life begins from left to right, or from top
To bottom.
From left